I've had a bit of a break. Bathurst's been on, the owner's been here. Seems quite happy with everything. The single 10-inch is more than enough, I'm told, so hopefully once I get that box sorted out, that'll be good for him for a while. So the tray is now the next project. So at the moment all I've got is a single sheet of marine ply. I've got a second one to mount to that so that we can get some thickness there. Try and secure it into the corner points so that it's not screwed through the floor, because obviously all airbrushed underneath. So we're going to start making up a frame to mount up the amps and battery. So that's the two replacement amps, exactly the same as what was in it from day one, back in 2000. 40 amp power supply, so when we go to shows we can disconnect the batteries, run everything straight off that. Just saves the battery so we don't have any issues with trying to start the car after it's finished. Should be more than enough to run everything during the show, not to full tilt, but more than enough to be able to run it. Two brand new full river batteries. These are about the best on the market from what I've been told, as far as running stereo for a long period of time and still having enough to be able to start the car. If by chance we don't have 240 volt, then obviously going to be relying on batteries. So we'll do some testing on that and see how long they last, but I think we'll be fine with them. So I've got those two, and we've got the little mono amp for the 10-inch, which is absolute monster just to run that single 10. It's more than enough. Next project after that is to try and sort out some gas struts for the tailgate. At the moment it opens conventionally and it goes down way too far. It actually hits the rear bumper, and there's some dents in the tailgate where it hits on the corner point of the bumper. So I need to try and sort the tailgate out so it doesn't go down as far, so we can have access to the sides to be able to put storage stuff in there for either cleaning or display. I think that's about it for the moment. We'll get stuck into the steel frame for the tray. Got some steel here to start cutting up. Try and secure that so everything's mounted to it. Everything's basically modular, so I can remove it all to get access to the batteries and whatever else is going to be hidden underneath without any issues. An update on the tray. Haven't really had much time to work on it. If anyone's followed New South Wales weather, they'll know we've had a lot of rain, which makes it very hard to be outside welding or cutting timber or pretty much doing anything. So we've had a bit of a cold streak, bit of snow as well, so limited hours, but been ticking away on it. So I've got the steel frame built in there, which screws to timber floor, which is bolted through the original holes that Jamie had in the floor. Just picked up those since they already go through underneath where it's all been airbrushed. So both amps are mounted, everything's measured up so far to be pretty much perfect. Going off one photo to try and use dimensions, so it's not exactly the easiest, but it'll look the same. What we're trying to do is create a little bit more room behind there so I can put more batteries in, and ultimately we will probably put airbags in it. So compressors and the tanks need to go somewhere. I've also got the small amp to mount somewhere in there, and washer bottle that's out of the engine bay, and pretty much anything else that can really fit in there. The power supply. Hopefully we'll leave enough room to put the display in there, so if we go to shows we don't have to try and have a secondary vehicle. It'll probably go in a trailer anyway, but at least if it goes somewhere we can pack stuff into the back of this once the tailgate's down, so it'll be accessible on the sides. So I've made up some timber panels, so I'll quickly chuck those on and we'll do another video. So this is pretty much the only photo I've really got that is high resolution, that gives me any real dimensions of where everything goes. I've literally been measuring the screen and referencing it off the size of the amps to try and get everything to the scale of what it was. The amps are slightly more vertical than what they used to be, just so we can get a little bit more room behind, mainly for batteries because it never had the batteries in there previously. So I've got all the patterns drawn out for the sides, got all the timber there to cut those so I can start routing those. The front bit, which is the same, and then I've got to make the center of the floor. So they will tuck under the edge, pretty much going by photos, that's how it sat before. The sides will be one piece, so everything will be removable, so it'll all be accessible if we need to be very quickly. But so far so good. That's where the tray is up to. Just got to do some routing. I'll go to a mate's workshop and use the router there. It's a lot easier to do there than make a mess in my shed. We've also not put the capacitors in, which a complete waste of time when the batteries are so close. I'm not even going to bother trying to find them nowadays. Wouldn't be able to find the same one, so it's pointless. So we're just going to run without it, and we'll just put some airbrushing around it so it looks the same. So it'll be the same but different, but no one's really going to notice or care, I don't think. As long as it's the same, then that was what the objective was. Righto, today is fix the roller shutter day. So I've dragged that out so that I can get access to the back of it. As you can see, all that bit's now out. The securing points on it have been taken out at some stage when they've repainted the tray. Obviously it was scratched to the hell when the stereo all went in originally. So when it was all removed, it probably looked pretty hideous. So they've stripped everything out to repaint it all so that it is all glossy. Now, the downside of that is that they haven't really fitted the roller shutter properly. So it doesn't work, it doesn't seal, there's no motor on it. So the parts out of it are here. I've got the end off so that I can get the gear off. So I'm going to make a template of that out of MDF so that I can try and work out the ratio to use the wiper motor that the owner has found for it. So I'm going to go and route that out and then try and scan it, and then we can try and use some computer systems to work out what size gear I need and trial a fit, and then see if I can get the roller shutter working properly. So the end plates were really not secured very well. The cover that goes underneath, which catches all the water, is long gone. So anytime any water gets in there, then the whole tray gets full of water, which is not ideal when we're trying to refit all the stereo that's made of wood and electronics. So the bearings on the end of where the main shaft is with the roller, they were dry as dry, rusted. So I've repacked those with grease. So it should roll a lot nicer to start with. But hopefully we can get the gear working, and I'll get the roller shutter working, and then I will cover it in water and see if I can make it stop leaking. Last thing we need is to wet everything after we just finish building it. One thing I've been working on is trying to get the gas struts working on the tailgate. So I've modified the end bracket to mount a strut. Basically they're just designed to catch the tailgate more so than be any pressure closing it. What the purpose was to keep it up a bit higher. The original straps let it drop down and actually hit the bumper, which is an aftermarket one obviously, and it was putting dents in the tailgate. No one's ever going to be standing on it, so it looks a little bit better like that. So I've been quietly working away on the trim panel. Just got to put a bit more bog across the top here and smooth it in and sand it up, and then it's ready for painting and priming. So that's what I'm going to do now. That's all we got for this episode. In the next one, we're going to start on a hard roof lining, which the owner doesn't know about. So he's now seen it. So full fiberglass roof lining was never done originally, and Jamie was pretty keen on the idea. So I've got hold of another roof and another roof lining, and that'll be in the next video. Thank you for watching.